Well, hello world. It's been a few weeks. I lost the battery to my computer after my last video, so I took it as a sign from the Lord that I was to stop. So I've had a few weeks, and all I've done is upload a few old ones that I think were pertinent because on two occasions I've had dreams that have come true almost to the day, and sometimes to the day, and so I'm really believing that's where we're at the moment. So I'm going to make another video just showing the dreams, because not only did I find these ones that are now coming true, and they actually have other dreams, you know, because as I said, I always have 3 dreams if it's prophetic, so, you know, I think they deserve, considering that the Lord is showing me that these other dreams of mine are coming true, like Trump's impeachment dream, and how it's actually a reason to rejoice. And even the headline of that was on Steve Quayle of the latest Dave Hodges video, you know, actually said Trump impeachment a victory, and that was the exact my title of my video. So I uploaded that one, and that was a 2-year-old video. So I just wanted, and the dreams that I've had since I haven't had my my battery, my camera, have been just so amazing and so wonderful, and I think so so comforting. You know, I know there's just so many of you out there who are feeling hopeless and broken, and they, you know, I have friends that say that they just want their joy back, and I know that feeling, and I know that that is Satan's, you know, plan, you know, to take away our joy, you know, and unfortunately, because we have been so hyped up to believe the rapture, now that it hasn't happened, and our joy became transferred in that, even though all our lives as Christians, you know, that was never spoken of. You know, it's been such a recent thing, and I'm really going to sort of start thinking about that, and really feeling that that's where the Lord wants me to put my energy, you know, as people begin to give up the false dreams and realise that it may have been you know, a trick, to, you know, a twist of words, and a trick to cause the falling away. But right now I want to talk about Jacinda Ardern and everything that she is showing now, which proves also the other videos that I did the minute that she came onto the scene 2 years ago. I knew, or I felt, that she was the Revelation 13, sorry, the beast from the sea in Revelation 13. And something else that's just occurred to me over, you know, recently. I've been seeing, every time I see, I don't know if it's the flag of California or the actual, of the Republic of California, if it's a real flag or just the one that they hope to have. Because I've been reading a couple of articles by Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show, and he's been talking about the Red Dawn. I shouldn't get down on this because this is another, you know, video in itself, but I'll just sort of give you a teaser. And just for quite a long time, I just see this bear. You know, do you know the flag of the Republic of California? It has this bear on it, and when I see what the Lord is, you know, what is happening to Trump now, and how evil these Democrats are, what they're prepared to do against their own country and president, you know, I can't help but think that God must judge, and swiftly. And in Revelation 12, you know, 13, it says here, I stood on the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise out of the sea. And that's what I believe Jacinda Ardern is. And I've done several videos talking about, you know, when she first came to power, and how there were like 300 journalists came on election night. And election night in New Zealand was the 23rd of September 2018. was it 16? That was the night that everybody was expecting. That was the birth of, the birth and the virgin birth, the great sign in heaven. You'll all remember that. And the only thing that happened was New Zealand's elections, and 300 journos came in. And I'm sure 300, if we look that up, we can, find that that's important too. But I haven't done that. This is just meant to be a quick video just showing the hypocrisy of this woman, and how she is just being used by the New World Order, and her speech at the United Nations, which was in stark contrast to Donald Trump's one of nationalism and patriotism, and she just contradicted everything that he said, and to talk and put him down, because she is now the replacement for Obama. Obama's not coming back, and I had a dream. I had a dream that I can't wait to tell you about, which I believe was talking about him hanging. So that is fantastic. I know it's not fantastic, but it is fantastic. The Lord's will be done. Where was I? So back to the dreams of Jacinda, right from the word go. So these 300 journos came in, so they knew something was. They were expecting something that was happening, and of course the press, And this woman came from nowhere. She was just given the position. And then, but we had to wait until my birthday, as it happened, the 13th of October, until the person who had the power to decide who was going to be the government made up his mind, and that, or the party. It was the so-called New Zealand First Party, but it certainly didn't put New Zealand first. And so now this is why we have this woman, and then she it's connected with her upbringing. If you look up Vinnie Eastwood, you'll see there was a video there. I think it's something like 7 minutes to expose Jacinda Ardern, or something to that effect, and it shows how she has been sponsored by the Masons right through her earliest years. And her father is a Mormon, and he is I think the commissioner of these Nauru Islands, these islands. So that was where she went. At the president of Nauru Island, I've done it on other videos, you can look it up, made a song about her, and talks about this. He talks about this new star that's going to bring the world together, and all this garbage, so this is, and of course, what's happening now with her push since the Christchurch massacre, her push to get the internet censored, and so that nothing like that can be shown on the internet. But of course, as we know full well, it is just part of their Big Brother scheme, as I saw this morning when I tried just to, look at that, I tried to just watch her on television, on repeat on television, and now look at that, I have to say who I am watching. Okay, so I can't get in without putting a profile in there. Who's watching? Well, I have to ask, who's watching me? I know very well that they have been watching me, that's for sure. So, and now here, so I'll get back into the scripture, so hopefully I haven't lost you. Revelation 13, most of you in America think, oh, New Zealand's too small, how could we be so important? Well, trust me, we are. Obama, Clinton, they were all here, and our government paid for them to come. Obama spent a lot of his effort in this country because, we have such a lot of socialists like her, and he went around at our taxpayers' expense, and, to train people. And we are very much involved in this whole rush, or the whole plan to overthrow Trump, because of the Masonic connection, and that is the call that came from Christchurch. And I also filmed that. you know, they put the call out. The new Masonic Lodge was built in Christchurch 2 months before the attack, and where they opened up the lodge to the world. And then they had the attack, and then there was this cryptic thing that Jacinda said when she was at when she first, so 1 month after the attacks, she went to, was it Paris? Yeah, the Paris summit, where she called for that was the clarion call, and the clarion call was to call all these the heads of the, you know, the Microsoft and the Apple and all, you know, all this together to institute these changes so that you know, we would be heavily censored on internet. And of course everyone thinks that's marvellous, and she still is trying to, that's her only claim to fame really, is how close she is to these people, you know. But any of us who are awake know how evil these people are, and they're all being taken down, and how Apple and Microsoft, yeah, the whole lot, are in bed with China, and even moved to China, so China being the dragon. So we go back to the revelation here, which is that you know, the beast rising out of the sea, and also the islands of Nauru, and all just these tiny places that she's using, you know, to forward the climate change thing as well, which also the whole Greta Thunberg, you know, thing. She, you know, Jacinda was there in Switzerland with Prince William, you know, and the whole, and Al Gore and David Attenborough, they're all in this together, you know, and this is this huge con on humanity, you know. And in this part of the video I'm going to show you, she mentions the oil spill, and that's a pretty sick joke really. You know, she mentions that's one of the reasons why we have to come together globally, because we don't know when something like that is going to affect us all. But that the Gulf oil spill was actually a false flag, and Barack Obama made a fortune, and many others, and absolute millions and millions, out of pouring this some sort of contaminants, you know, some sort of stuff on the oil to disperse it, which has made life for humanity, you know, absolutely, you know, unsustainable. And I think the plan, they wanted to actually to evacuate the people, but it's too expensive, and it's just been tremendous. So you can, you know, just Google some of these words, you'll find it. Maybe I'll be able to do another video on that. But back to chapter 13, and so this you've got to understand also. So I have shown you, now I've shown you the red dragon of Revelation 12 being cast out of heaven, and that happened on was it July the 27th, 2016. 16? Yeah, she was in 16. No, 17. 17. So that was a month before the eclipse in the USA, which was in, was it August? And so there, I'm going to play on the background here. Take out my. That was around the red dragon. You can go and have a look at this. It's I put together a compilation called "It's Over for the Masons and New World Order: More Signs and Wonders. The End of 7 Years of Trib's Sign." Okay, it's just the end of 7 years Trib's sign. I'll put a link underneath, and if I don't, somebody yell at me, please. But here is the revelation, the dragon sign. And if you don't think it is, you tell me what you think it is, because that's what it is. Which shows us where we're at. And I just happened to go out, would you believe it, with a camera in my hand, going, and I see this thing. So just give me a minute. It just takes a while because I can't focus it. Okay, oh, sorry. Now this here. Okay, I'll let you see this one. And Dennis is not using a flash, a zoom. This is the sign of the Son of Man, or Sirius, or Blue Kachina. This is Sirius. I was told, somebody told me this was Sirius. I've called it the sign of the Son of Man, and as in the video that I did yesterday, it is obviously the what is prophesied by the Hopi Indian as the Blue Kachinga, which is a sign that the Great White Brother is returning. Okay, so, and that I filmed on 27th of November 2016, and if you have a look at it, you know, when I still it, you can see that it's not round, that there's actual corners, it's not completely round, and when it pulsates, there's actually a sound that pulsates with it. So, okay, so I'll just go back now to the red dragon. So it also had Cookie Monster, and there are... There's a red dot in the mouth, and I've done many videos. I've done many videos of that one, and so this one here, they... Okay, I'll go back again. There were infrared pictures of something come into our stratosphere. So you see it there, and they actually called it the Cookie Monster, and which was funny because I hadn't seen that, but I called this the Cookie Monster because it's got not only it's got the tail, which is the dragon, and the red ball in the middle of the mouth, and so it's got a big slash this side and a smaller slash this side, and you know, and this red ball in its mouth, and so on one of the thumbnails I've actually used the red the infrared picture that they had taken, you know, by some great telescope, and I've used that, as they called that, the Cookie Monster, and in that picture you can actually see that it's made up of two things, and that's what accounts for the you know, the two splits, the two slashes on either side. Where was I? Okay, back to California. Everybody thinks, you know, and if you watch Steve Hodges, you will see he's talking about a red dawn, and you know, with everything that's happening with Trump, you know this New World Order, they're just not giving up, and of course they've got everything in place. They've got the FEMA camps, they've got the United Nations. I wonder if I can find it. Anything else I want to? I just want Jacinda here. They've got all the vehicles. So if you, I tell you, if you look up him, you'll find it, and it talks about he's talking about this sort of I don't know, Latino or something. They want to take over, cut America up in the Cascadia. It's called, they're calling it Cascadia, and no whites allowed. But there's huge amounts of United Nations vehicles in the country, and this all reminds me of, you know, what else happened at the time. At the time when I filmed that Sirius sign, that was in the November when Trump was elected. And even just this morning, it's just incredible how the Lord works. Even just this morning, I got a comment from a man on my Facebook, a friend on my Facebook, who told me of a dream that he had in 2015, and I'm going to have to do a video of it because it's quite amazing. And he talks about going up in a helicopter and going to like a white city, but it was the United Nations people that took him, so he knew that the place. And he said there were cameras on every corner, on the street lamps and everything. And when I read it, I just thought of something I was reading a Margaret Atwood. It was a review in a magazine of her books talking about these. The story of these sort of idyllic cities that they created, and that also sort of takes me back right to my first videos of Barack Obama, and these plans of keeping people in these small enclosures. I won't go there. So sorry, I'm off the track here. So, but anyway, the California, when I saw because it is connected with Russia, the Red Dawn is connected with Russia and China, so that is the dragon, and of course, as we know, Silicon Valley, all of these places, the reason that China is, is rearing its head now in Hong Kong is because Trump has not been the little puppet that all the other leaders and people in the United States were. So of course they've got so much to lose, and they're just trying to really get it going. But I also see Prince Andrew and Meghan, they pull them out whenever one of the stories of these people who I can't mention gets too hot. Out comes a royal trip holding a baby and all this garbage. And basically this is what we've been sucking up all these years, and this is how they've been controlling us through the media. And so that there it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Well, to me, that's Barack Obama. He was the leopard. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, which is Russia. But, when I think of Barack Obama, now this may sound crazy, because he was the one that did this all. And at the moment, I'm reading also this by Jonathan Kahn, Paradin, and it's really interesting. And it shows how everything that is happening in the States through from Bush didn't really count, but Clinton definitely, and Hillary, how they mirror Jezebel, and how we then have Obama, and he was the I think he's the assassin. Was he the assassin? So and it talks, it's just quite amazing. And then we get to Jehu, and Jehu speaks of the overthrow, and it talks about because all those others were all pursuing the Jezebel spirit. And I just had the most incredible example of that the other night when I watched an old Seinfeld, thing, and I've known for quite a while, sadly, just how much of all their programming comes from TV, but how crucial the Seinfeld program was. What's her name? Elaine Bennis. She was just so. That made it funny, but she was just such a wicked, immoral person. And I saw this one program, and it was just all about abortion. And she ended up giving up this boyfriend, because he didn't believe in abortion. And Jerry thought that was a huge joke. I'll play it. I'll do a video of it because I just think it's just so incredible. And I feel that is where I've got to talk now, because I just can't believe that people don't see like I see, and that, it's just heartbreaking, I went to a meeting the other day to a climate change meeting, and to show them the truth that it was the chemtrails, and give them and show them the writings, show them how even John Brennan, admitted it, on his last talk in the foreign nations. You know, he's talking about it, you know, because what they're doing now, you know, they're so crafty and evil. So this is John Brennan. You know, they're actually admitting it all, but trying to do that. This is Central Intelligence thingy. Director John Brennan. Can you see that? And you know, and he starts talking here. He says another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collective as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection, chemtrails. Or SAI, a method of seeding the stratosphere with particles that can help reflect the sun's heat in much the same way that volcanic eruptions do. So, of course, you know, as promising as it may be moving forward, you know, so they're saying, oh, we could do it in the future. Yeah, they've been doing it for, what, 30 years? But that's just what they do, how crafty they are, you know, so that all of us who are sounding the alarm, you know, and I go to this meeting and here are these people there talking to the council, you know, giving the council ways of taxing them more, you know, or what can we do, you know, to change this global warming. But and you just can't. You think, how in the world do you start? Where do you start with people who are so dumbed down? You know, and that's what's happened, and that's why we don't have any comedy shows anymore. You know, like Kramer, he's a Mason. You know, he's a Mason. You know, they were all, and this is also the reason why you'll see Jacinda Ardern on the blimmin', you know, on all the comedy shows. I think you can judge a leader by how often they're on the comedy shows, and you don't see Donald Trump there. You know, but the Obamas and this is her second time, you know, now she's even, what's his name? That guy, don't even know, Oliver, is it Oliver? And, you know, the biggest mockers in the world, you know, because she knows she's put herself out. She's hated Trump right from the get-go. And so these are, you know, these are the rats that all stick together. And they haven't got much left going for themselves, but they're so desperate they've got to carry on either which way. So I'm just going to show you this. Hey, have I finished my sentence yet? Sorry, guys. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, Obama, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Russia, California. You know, do you remember when, you know, Obama, you know, not Obama, it was, yeah, it was Obama. No, it wasn't. It was Obama's, was it Biden? Oh, bound to be Biden. You know, said, oh, we can be, or he was talking to the, no, it was Obama, talking to the then Prime Minister of Russia and telling him that, to tell Vladimir that, you know, I can be more flexible after the election, you know. So, you know, Dave Hodges also has done many accounts of Obama as the Manchurian candidate, but the ones that he's doing now of the Red Dawn, you know, you really should see, because just as what if I can get it, just as it's horrible to think, just as I couldn't get in and to this computer, you know, to this program without saying who I was. So I suspect that many people, you know, there are a few, should I say, channels in New Zealand who I've told, you know, that I believe that they're just bait, and that, you know, when you look at the comments on the people, you know, so I don't allow sort of comments that just deride people, because I know that, you know, it's going to be classified as hate speech, and so, you know, every little comment that they make, it's all just adding up, and they will be on the list for when these police come, when the United Nations comes and takes over. And I believe that probably is also what my dream about her with the stealth bomber. Oh, that's what I was going to say. At the time also, when I saw that star, the Sirius sign, that was when the Lord gave me the word, an anagram, A-R-R-C, and that which meant Allied Rapid Response Corps. And that, when I saw that, opened that up, and I found the communications between the Allied forces, and they were in the Ukraine, that and doing operations that we had no idea of. So the Lord's just confirming everything that He sort of told me then. It's all sort of fitting together, and though we've had a wonderful window with Trump, I believe that, as the book of Joel says, we're in the valley of decision. Boris Johnson, what he's going through, in Joel it says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. And I came across that also today. I think it is in Jeremiah 14 I opened to, and 13. And the Lord talked about, what's it, I always get Jeremiah and Isaiah mixed up, but I believe it's talking about the Assyrian, and that the Lord will take the mantle of the Assyrian off our shoulders, and the burden of Babylon. So it is Isaiah 13. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, and even that rejoice in my highness. What happened also, there were two other dreams. The night that I had the dream about Trump and him being impeached, but all his supporters, dancing in victory. There were two other dreams that I had that night, and one of them related to me seeing three objects in the sky. I think it was two suns, and then another sun came out of the other sun. I'll do another video on it. And this person that I know, who has two lovely little girls and a lovely wife. He isn't married to his wife and does not appreciate her, and just lives for the world. And in the dream, I'm pleading with him to look up, and he won't look up, and he just accuses me of trying to draw attention to myself. And then I just plead with him and say, look, I don't even have children, I don't have grandchildren of my own, I'm doing it for your children. Won't you please look up? So that was that dream. And then the next dream was going back. It was like it went back in time. I was in a place where everything was back in time, and it was so peaceful, and it was early in the morning, and people were sort of living in what seemed to be like gypsy caravans, and they were restoring, stripping back old cake mixers and sewing machines, anything old from the past, and they were stripping them back and getting them ready, and everybody was loving working, and it was wonderful, and I just wanted to be there. It was beautiful. And for a long time, I've believed, with this person who told me his dream this morning, yesterday, was it this morning? Anyway, told me his dream yesterday. And he mentioned in it he went up with a helicopter. And so I looked up heli and helicopter and the word heli, and I came across a reference to Sirius. And what I've been reading about, that I've told you in my last video, which is why I can't make many videos because I've got so much to learn, is talking about the new time. Sirius, that that blue thing that I filmed, was announcing Trump, I believe, and this new era that is upon us. But we are at the moment now where that red dragon, as I also showed, is running, chasing the bride, and trying to destroy her, because he has little time, he has no time left, and that the sea, the beast from the sea. So, because you had the dragon was wrath, okay, you know in chapter 12, and the dragon was angry with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of his seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. And then chapter 13, and then, okay, so all back here, this is before the virgin sign, and this is when we had Obama, and this, I believe, was the years of the tribulations. And I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave his power and his seat, and gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And then we saw one of his heads was wounded unto death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So it is my contention that Jacinda Ardern is the replacement, is the healing of the beast, and and as we're seeing them, everybody's wandering after her and exalting her, just as they did Obama. And it's because China, hidden way down under the Masons, under the Mormons, which is her father, under all this, it all comes back to socialism, and it all comes back to these beasts. We have the leopard, which of course, and the feet of the bear, and his mouth was the mouth of the lion. And so we have England there as well, and I believe that's the Prince Harry is fulfilling that part, because I think Prince William doesn't want the job. So I'm just going to play you Jacinda, and hopefully you'll understand what I'm trying to say. I know it's been a bit long. So here she is, trying to re-energize the whole Muslim thing through the cry from Christchurch, which is not only that trying to re-energize the Muslim, the free immigration, all that Trump is trying to stop, and the abortion, everything that Trump, all the policies that the Clintons through the spirit of Jezebel brought in, Trump is going against. And but she is the rear guard that they're bringing in to try and counteract him. And she started with the which is all about globalism. So I'll let her speak, and I don't know if I've told some of you about, it's just so ludicrous. Cat Stevens, everybody's in it. If you're famous, you got there because you sold your soul. Cat Stevens came to Christchurch. I could go on about Christchurch forever. Nobody wants to live there now. I wonder why. It was just like when they had the first earthquake, and they had the Dalai Lama come, and do his big thing in Christchurch. We never see him anymore, do we? No, of course not. And when Tibet had the earthquake, where was he? Oh, not at home. He was over at Stonehenge, celebrating his birthday. These people are just absolute puppets of the New World Order, and just as we don't have the comedy shows anymore, because they don't need that subtlety of comedy to get their messages in. Now all we have is reality TV, because we're so dumbed down that we'll just sit there like zombies and watch one game show or cooking competition after another, because putting out quality stuff, it's expensive. So now I have noticed also something called emergence. So, I think that sounds pretty obvious what that's going to be about. So this time is really important for Christians to know where they're at. And if you're expecting the rapture and are disappointed because it hasn't happened, remember where you came from. Remember when you first gave your heart to the Lord, there was no talk of rapture. You know, I didn't promise you a rose garden, you know. I didn't promise you a rapture. I promised you eternal life, and you've still got that, you know. And so, but this little story that she's saying now is as incredulous as the Cat Stevens deal when he came to New Zealand and gave a concert and sang Peace Train. And then, lo and behold, would you believe it? It was reported on our media that, I shouldn't laugh, but it was reported that one of the victims, may he rest in peace, was heard singing Peace Train the night before in his bedroom. You know, that is the level of ludicrousy. Have you ever tried to sing Peace Train? Let alone somebody singing a song that was back in the 60s in his bedroom, and the next day he gets killed. You know, and this is Peace Train. This is the whole thing, you know, trying to advocate that this is a peaceful religion. She gets up here and just talks about this massacre. You know, if you look at Muslim massacres, you know, calling it the worst mosque, you know, massacre, you know, there's ever been. We just need to go around and see how many mosques and how many massacres of Muslims are done by Muslims. The only thing that's shocking about this one is the fact that it was done by whoever they said it was, and I don't believe a bean of who they say it was. It was another one of those things that I'm not allowed to mention, but hopefully you all know what it is. Here she is.
The practical changes that will enable us to say that such a horrific act could never happen again. And we did that. Within 10 days of the attack, we made a decision to change our gun laws and banned military-style semi-automatic weapons and assault rifles in New Zealand. We've started on a second tranche of reforms.
And this is what it's all about, is trying to get America to follow suit, because the only way that they can, the only thing stopping this red dawn that Dave Hodges talks about, so look up Dave Hodges, is the fact that Americans have too many guns.
To register weapons and to change our licensing regime. These changes will help to make us safer. But when you're a child, fear is not discreet, and it cannot be removed through legislative acts.
Oh, okay, so I'll go back to where she was. She talks about the oil spill. And by the way, if you look up, you'll find the reason that we have all the warm weather is not because of the warming of the atmosphere, but it is because of because of the oil spill heated up the jet stream, because of all these chemicals that Barack Obama poured on it and made millions out of. And so that is what's warmed up so it's kept the sea, you know, the sea heat of the sea, has kept it down there. I think that's how it is. God, it's hard for me to see that. So here she is, 3:23. I think that's about right.
10th of March 2019, the day an alleged terrorist undertook the most horrific attack on a place of worship, taking the lives of 51 innocent people, devastating our...
An alleged terrorist took the most horrific attack. Doesn't take much to find a lot more than that.
And challenging our sense of who we are as a country. Now, there is no changing a nation's history, but we can choose how it defines us. And in Aotearoa, New Zealand, the people who lined up outside of mosques with flowers, the young people who gathered spontaneously in parks and open spaces in a show of solidarity, the thousands who stopped in silence to acknowledge the call to prayer 7 days later, and the Muslim community who showed only love. These are the people who collectively decided that New Zealand would not be defined by an act of brutality and violence,
but strangely, that's all we are defined by.
And empathy. Make no mistake,
She never
though,
stops.
we do not claim to be a perfect nation. While we are a home of more than 200 ethnicities, that does not mean that we are free from racism or discrimination. We have wounds from our own history that 250 years on from the first encounters between Māori and Europeans, we continue to address. But since the terrorist attack in New Zealand, we have had to ask ourselves many hard and many difficult questions. One example sticks in my mind. It was only days after the shooting and I visited a mosque in our capital city. After spending some time with community leaders, I exited and walked across the car park where members of the Muslim community were gathered. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a young boy gesture to me. He was shy, almost retreating towards a barrier, but he also had something he clearly wanted to say. I quickly crouched down next to him. He didn't say his name or even hello. He simply whispered, "Will I be safe now?" What does it take for a child to feel safe? As adults...
Okay, so you can believe that if you like. I'm not. So, what is my message? Hope I've got my message over. I will talk more about paradigm. I'll talk more about Trump, about what's happening, Boris Johnson, everything. We are in the time of our lives. Christians, please pray. I will tell you my dreams, and you'll know that God is here. He's here now, and I won't carry on. I'll talk to you later. But that your prayers are the power that Satan is working against, is trying to stop. He wants to keep you distracted so that you don't pray and you don't use that power. I just can't say it enough. And also, if you've got the gift of tongues, sing in tongues. Praise is also the power